will Chicago Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson fare in 2019? That is the question I will be answering for you guys. What is going on, y'all? Fox Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, a little NFL. If you're a Bears fan or an NFL fan in general, make sure to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button down below and turn on my post notifications by hitting the bell icon down below, because you don't want to miss out when I post videos, and I do so very often on this channel. And while you're at it, just while you're at it, man, make sure to go ahead and follow me on the social media links down below in the description and on the screen. For that, you guys see the whiteboard behind me. It's a whiteboard video. You guys love these ones that I do. And here I'm going to try to project out Allen Robinson's numbers for this coming NFL season. So let's not wait any longer. Let's get started. I do want to mention real quick before I get started that I did similar videos for Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky and Bears rookie running back David Montgomery. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that out in my recent videos. With that being said, let's again talk about Allen Robinson. And we have to start with his statistical production from last season. Okay, so let's talk about what he did in 2018, because Bears fans and fantasy football owners in general were expecting more, because Allen Robinson only had 55 receptions for 754 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2018, okay? So a disappointing year in terms of, if you drafted him, you were probably expecting wide receiver 1 or 2 numbers, and he certainly didn't deliver. Now, he missed 3 games last season, only played 13 games, so injury did play a part in it, okay? And I will extrapolate out his numbers if you were to play those 3 games. But let me just talk about the fact that we're talking about him, putting up these numbers in his first year with the Bears, okay? So keep that into account. And I'll start off by saying year 2 with the Chicago Bears means more chemistry, knowing the playbook more. Year 2 with quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, better chemistry with Mitch himself. Year 2, more importantly, coming off the ACL. A lot of guys who tear their ACL, they're not really fully themselves until the year after. So last year was his first year off the ACL. Now it's year 2. People forget this guy's only 25 years old, folks. Allen Robinson's only 25. He's had a 1,400-yard, 14 touchdown season in the NFL, his second year with the Jaguars, and still insanely talented. So again, people tend to forget. They think he's been in the league for so long. Folks, only 25, okay? So again, this is what he did last year, okay? But let's talk about what most fantasy experts have Allen Robinson at. Now, again, this is not what I think. I will tell you what I think about his statistical production. Just hang on a second. This is what sites have him at, okay? Like the number spits out, the computer spits out this number. It's just a statistical output, really, just to give you a baseline of what they think. We're talking 62 receptions, 858 yards, and about 6 touchdowns. So again, looks pretty conservative, okay? Pretty conservative. And just 2 more touchdowns and a few more receptions, okay? Now, I mentioned extrapolating out his 2018 year by adding the 3 games, because this is with 13 games. But let's say you were to add those 3 games, or 3 games. Let's see, what would he have done? And I forgot to mention here, he averaged about 58 receiving yards per game, okay? So if I'm kind of following that, then 3 more games with about, 5 receptions a game or so, you're talking about 70 receptions, okay, for about 900 and about 28 yards, okay? And again, touchdowns, if you got 4 in that many games, we're talking about what, like 7 TDs, okay? But that's a baseline of what he would have averaged. Maybe 5 touchdowns, okay? 5 to 7 touchdowns. But close to 1,000 yards in just his first year with the Bears, okay? So you can bet my projection for him is going to be higher than what, these so-called fantasy football experts have him at. So let's break this down. And to break this down, we got to take into account all of the target share on the Chicago Bears. And the magic number here to keep in mind is, if I could write here, 241. That is the magic number to keep in mind. Why? Because that is the number of receptions that the majority of the Bears, receivers had. And I'm talking about the non-running backs here. Okay, so let's start, of course, with A-Rob. Okay, 55 receptions, like I mentioned up here. Okay, last year. This is what with the Bears receiving core did last year. Taylor Gabriel. Okay, I'm gonna just say Gabe, 67. A lot of people think he's just a deep threat. He had a lot of receptions for the Bears last year. I believe he led them in receptions. Then we've got Anthony Miller, okay? The rookie receiver from last year, now going into the second year, 33 receptions, okay? And then Trey Burton, our starting tight end, who was also a big part of the receiving distribution, 54 receptions, okay? And then finally, I'm just going to say other. This is like all the other receivers like Josh Bellamy, Kevin White, some of them no longer on the team, Joanne Wims, if you will. And they had like 3, 4, 6, 7 receptions. Pretty insignificant, but they all added up to about 32 receptions, okay? So you take all that and you'll get the 241 that I talked about. So that's the total receptions. Now, again, keep in mind that's not all of them. I don't have the running backs here. I'm only talking about the receivers. So mentioning what I mentioned about Allen Robinson going into year 2 with the Bears and playing a full season, 16 games, and taking a look at what he would have put up if he just played a full season last year, I'm optimistic that his reception count will go up, okay? But I will get to Allen Robinson last. Let me talk about these other guys. Taylor Gabriel, I don't believe he'll average. I don't believe he'll get a 67 receptions again. I believe Anthony Miller is going to leapfrog him in the totem pole for the receiving, tree, if you will. I've got Anthony Miller going sky high to about 50 receptions. You guys might think that's a lot, but I am very high on Anthony Miller, and I could see him doing it, folks. 50 receptions for Anthony Miller. Let's give him around that much because I'm that high on him, okay? So let's bring down Taylor Gabriel to 60, and I'm being conservative here. He could even go down to 55, but let's say 60, okay? Because he is going to be one of our starting wide receivers. And then Trey Burton, again, just being conservative here, we can bring him down to 50, or we can even bring him down to 45. He hasn't really played in the preseason, so he's been pretty out of the preseason, and he's been injured with the groin injury. Okay, and then finally the other. I feel like the target share here is going to be so much that the other guys won't get as much. Now we've got our receiver Riley Ridley, who's going to go in this other Joanne Wims, if you will. Maybe you can give about 20, again, to 30 receptions. But I don't think it'll be too much, okay? But even if you want to be a little bit more, aggressive here, you can maybe go a little lower on Trey Burton. For whatever you want, let's say this number of 241 last year goes to 250. And if you kind of add all this up, and I believe Allen Robinson can get you about 75 receptions, it'll get you close to that number, okay? This will all get you close to that 250 number, which is all you really need. And if that is the case, okay, if that is what ends up happening, and again, give or take, maybe Gabriel's receptions go down a little bit, Burton's go down a little bit, and Riley Ridley plays really well, Joanne Wims plays really well, they go up. Take whatever you want. Baseline is this number, 250 receptions total. And then you would take Allen Robinson's 75 receptions, okay? Extrapolate that out, okay? Pretty much. Okay? Even if he averages about, same amount of yards per game, 60, which I think he'll average more, but I'm just saying this is conservative. 75 receptions, that puts me at 1,040 yards. And I'm going to give 8 touchdowns to Allen Robinson because I think he'll be a very big threat in the red zone. So there you have it, folks. 75 catches, 1,040 yards, and 8 touchdowns for Allen Robinson. And I believe that is conservative, folks. Okay, I think he can do more than this. But just because the Bears have a lot of mouths to feed with, I mentioned, Taylor Gabriel, Anthony Miller, Trey Burton, Riley Ridley, Joanne Wims. Of course, David Montgomery is going to catch the ball. Tree Cohen's going to catch the ball. There's a bunch of mouths to feed, but I believe this is about a good, accurate estimate of what you can expect from Allen Robinson this year. So absolutely, I think he's going to be wide receiver 2 numbers in fantasy football. I would definitely look to draft him. He's going as one of the more underrated receivers. He plays a full 16 games. He almost cracks 1,000 yards last year, okay? So I definitely think he can get it this year, and this is fairly conservative for me. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys agree or disagree, leave a comment down below of what you have as Allen Robinson's numbers. Please make sure to subscribe if you like this video. And always, thanks for watching.